Hey, good morning, everybody. So inflation picked up a little bit, rattling the market, but kind of the reaction, whatever the news was, somewhat normal, I guess, and expected after this little run up into resistance. And so while you see the reaction down here, um, you know, we'll just have to see where it ends the day, like we do every day. We look at the overall picture that's happening, which is so far a sideways correction. Um, as we look at it, and we talked about this in prior pre-market, was whether this may turn out to be a head and shoulders top. We'll see. So far, it's correcting sideways. I think for today, um, I think it's key if the buyers want to continue to step up here and hold things together. I think it's important that they able to close the market above yesterday's low. Because whatever the reaction is right now, you know, looking at the daily chart, the weekly chart, it's really not a big deal. So, the numbers coming in what they were, maybe a little bit worse than expected. I guess flat or a little less would have been better. I think it was anticipated for it to be less than the last time. And just take a quick look here. So the consensus was for inflation rate month over month to be 0.2%, and it came in at 0.3%. So anyway, like I said, right, so far the reaction here, I think, is normal after a push up over the last couple of days. There's lots of 1, 2, 3 patterns from that had set up like this wide range bar, inside bar, some follow through today. As I said, staying above yesterday's low and especially closing above it would keep things constructive. And we'll see tomorrow on the PPI numbers, what kind of effect that has. Right now, technically looking at prices running up into an area of resistance and a negative reaction is normal. But is the reaction significant? Well, from a 5-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame, looking at these futures, absolutely. From a weekly time frame, things look pretty bullish still, even after this red bar. At the end of the day, tomorrow will be like, do we have a green bar like this, where we have an RBI, or do we have a topping tail confirming, this extended move, the slowing momentum, and then a bias that things would go down next week? So we just don't know yet. Right now it's just chopping around. Buyer stepped up on the pullback, and we see what happens. Um, Looking at the gap on the spiders, where is it at? Not bad. A little gap down so far. I went to yesterday's bar. I've got my little support bar alert under yesterday's low. And we'll see what happens there. And okay, I'm looking at interest rates now, which were down a little while ago. Now they're up. Let's just see where that's at. Yeah, they were down. I looked at that and I was like, that's kind of weird. There's negative reaction in the futures, and the 10-year was actually lower, and now it's kind of like a delayed reaction, and it ripped up. And so now we're getting this green bar, and we've been talking about this for the last 2 years about interest rates, and over the last couple of months at the end of the last year, it's like, okay, it's coming down support. There's going to be buyers there. The market's not going to like that. But overall, the market's just corrected sideways, which is a positive. So again, we'll see where this ends up. It's at this minor resistance area. Does it close green? If it continues up, and I think this, as I said earlier in the week, I think this 4.2 level, which is just below, the declining 50 and coming up to major resistance, the pivot high prior to a lower low, whereas the depth of retracement now begins to make this look like a more significant turn on the daily time frame. Whereas on the weekly time frame, I think what we're in for here for a little while is just a wide trading range. So, the beginning of the year here, going to be a little touch and go, but I think pushing up above this level here, expect more of a negative reaction to equities. And then we just see it. Does this head and shoulders top actually follow through? And if it does, and this is going up, the short side is going to be much easier than it is now, which isn't easy at all because buyers keep stepping up on the dip and holding things together. But as more negativity, should it unfold, buyers' confidence begin to get shaken and people look to sell. So things that have been showing relative weakness, like yesterday, we talked about was it the gaming stock, Duncan, or what is it? I forget, DNKAG. I can't remember the symbol. We talked about it yesterday in the green room, but it's a sell setup on the daily time frame. DraftKings, whatever that symbol is. I got it in a minder on my other platform. Anyway, yeah, take a look at that because that's a sell setup and it's been showing relative weakness. So that's something that if the market does move lower, should go down. All right. SPX. So I was kind of surprised at the strikes, but they're changing a little. No, they're not. I mean, I guess the market, whatever's stabilizing here. But with yesterday's move up, you can see the 1, 2, 3 and the move up. I was surprised to see this lower strike with this morning's reaction for this actually to come up. So whatever the reaction is, the option premiums there aren't dropping significantly. So that bullish bias based on these last couple of days they're not, turning quick. And so that could be complacency or it's bullish. Again, the weekly chart, we'll see where this ends up today. Top strike 8, up above here. Actually, if things come up a little bit, could go to 48.25, which is getting close, 75 by 85 right now. So that's okay. Again, any move we can get away from, where the current prices are, the better. It just is still profitable. And with the reaction this morning, 48.25 looks like a good place where prices wouldn't be able to go today. And so is any other news coming out? There's other mortgage rates, and there's auctions, short-term auctions at 11:30. Mortgage rates going to be coming out, whatever they are, at 12 o'clock. And you got a guy speaking at 12:40. Yeah, right. Barking the way you typed it. Exactly. You had it right the first time. I mean, that guy you can see he rattles the market on some of the stuff he says. But anyway, keep that in mind. 12:40, he's going to be speaking. So lunchtime, there might be some movement based on that. All right. Other markets, transports held up relatively well. They've broken the trend, going sideways. Again, sideways correction so far. Qs, bounce up into the gap area. Is it a head and shoulders top? Bring your alarms under yesterday's low. We're at yesterday's low. We'll see what follow through there is to there. Where are they at right now? You're in the middle of yesterday's range, actually kind of unchanged right now. So yeah, I mean, zero. So whatever the reaction was initially, it's not a big deal so far. We'll see, as things come up to some resistance, what the reaction is. You can see these tails right here. There'll be sellers in this area if we can get up there. Um, what else? The Dow has been holding great in a correction through time, right? Meaning it's going sideways after getting extended. And in a higher time frame, if it ends like this tomorrow, you've got a slowing momentum candle, kind of a little candle body without any follow through, even though it broke the low intra week, this little dip down and it's come up. And again, the same thing, yesterday's low. And this is being as tight as it is, any movement under here signals a short term top. So pretty clear lines in the sand to be aware of and mark. IWM, right? That was again showing relative weakness, but with the strength that came in, midday, it held up and buyers showed up again. Gapping down a little bit within that range, not a big deal. So no matter where we look, it's kind of short term, some negative reaction, and daily and weekly time frames, not a big deal. We wait for more. Semiconductors were, in the morning, they were dropping. You can see what happened there. And then as the market held up, they recovered yesterday and things improved. But overall, again, a similar type of a pattern. Is it going to be a head and shoulders top? Bring your alert under yesterday's low. Same thing. Gold doing nothing here. Whipsaw around, nothing to do. Silver, same story, just not ready for anything yet. Crude oil continues to hold in this area. Overall, just something referred to this as like a Christmas tree pattern, just red, green, red, green. It's in support. We'll see tomorrow at the end of the day where it is. Do we have another bottoming tail bar, a red bar, green bar, whatever? This is just a setup here to do nothing other than to continue to observe, set some alerts, and see what happens. Bitcoin, right? They got their ETF. Big anticipation. It's up a little bit. Weekly looks great, like it can continue to go higher. It's at just resistance. So until proven otherwise, or anything fails, we'll assume that this continues to act bullishly. Really erratic on a daily time frame, but now that these ETFs are available, whoever wants to invest with an ETF, but you can still trade. What is it? The grayscale, which is trades like a stock, but now people can buy it in an ETF and hold on to it. Ethereum. Is it playing some catch up? Yeah, that's, you see, moved up on the news, but this has been going up. Just a lot of erratic price action. Monthly, when you see this kind of whippy price action, just go out to a higher time frame. So, like many things, short term extended, holding up, no violation of a lower time frame support. That's why you got to be really careful, whether you call it extended or overbought, overbought a lot more subjective as to how that's measured with indicators, but anything that's up multiple bars in a row and becoming extended from price support, right? While a moving average is a visual aid, extended from price support, what opens the door for a retracement. Unless you get a lower time frame violating some support, it doesn't make much sense to short it unless you're a day trader. And you can always, it doesn't really matter too much, but the more time frames you have aligned with each other, the better. Common sense. The grayscale, looks like it could get up to that resistance area, maybe around $50, which is quite a distance away. But until it violates major support, the pivot lows prior to a higher high, the trend is up. And I think that's about it as far as, things are holding up here. We'll see what happens. As I already said, on a short-term basis and equities, S&Ps, yesterday's low, the Qs, yesterday's low. Ideally, from the bullish point of view, prices would stay above that. If they close below it, that head and shoulders top pattern becomes, more potent as the beginnings of maybe a more significant top anyway. We'll see what kind of follow through there is. But if this breaks, then of course, as I said, this begins to look more like that topping pattern, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And it is at resistance, on the weekly time frame. So to you, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, CNBC is having their party with these Bitcoin things. Buy the rumor, sell the news. But the charts, as Greg just showed you, many are still bullish. Remember I mentioned Ether yesterday on that SEC crack? And I said, look, this thing was rocking pre-market. See over here yesterday, pre-market? And so that looked interesting. And I kind of didn't watch it. But look at that from yesterday's rally. It's up $3 right now. Wow. We actually were in this, Greg, as a core. And, I wish I had Susie here to manage these because we sure left a lot of money on the table. All right, not many earnings here. A couple of alarms. I posted a few new ones. All right, Duncan's actually gapping under the trigger. So let's give it a 5-minute low. All right, earnings. I have a huge watch list here. I went through and cleaned it up this morning. KBH had earnings 60.40. That's a bearish gap. My initial thought of this is now it's kind of an M top, and it's gapping to the neckline here. So let's see what it does. CHK is buying SWN. This is actually rare. Typically, the acquiring company gaps down, and this is a bullish gap right here to 80. That's a put spread idea. GMed, I think, just guided or something or other. I don't see any prints. Infeed guided, no pattern. Infin guided, $5, no pattern. So yeah, no earnings. All right, so I just posted these 13 or 11 rather ETFs that were approved. And look at this thing moving. IBIT. This is there was an article in the journal about BlackRock trying to lower its fees to try to really compete. And remember, I said in the green room yesterday that when we have one commodity. All right, thanks. When we have one commodity, I said it's for an ETF like GLD, and how are these companies going to compete? And other than price, and I said marketing. Their marketing department's going to seriously. I would love to know of people who have stockbrokers. All of them. How many when they're told, hey, I want to put you in 3% gold ETF, 3% Bitcoin ETF, whatever. How many customers ask, well, what's the expense ratio of your Fidelity fund? Can I get the same exposure cheaper? I wonder how many people are smart enough to even ask that. So my point is, it's a marketing machine. But back to Ether, um, I'm shocked there's only one ETHE. I mean, I'll bet these 11 competitors or 10 competitors um, should be all over that. Then why haven't they already? I would have had an application in with my Bitcoin simultaneously. Here, I want an Ether one too. Give my marketing department two things to go after. All right, but anyway, Tan here. When I was cleaning up my morning list, I noticed Tan's making a turn. So I posted Tan as a put spread on Run as a put spread. Now, you know what? So there's a lot of patterns that makes me think that we got to do another MT live soon on the turn. So this is trying to make a turn, but where would you be confident of the turn? Well, over the green bar, without a doubt. But for a put spread, maybe a tad earlier, so I could drop down to a 15-minute chart. ENPH, similar to my list. I heard this guy on CNBC saying that car, what's it called? Subprime car loans have the highest default in history. That's what I heard him say. And I'm like, man, that's more than the 08 financial crisis, more than COVID. And he was talking about signs of consumer being strapped and so forth, along with this inflation, some people having to spend 50% of their earnings to pay rent. But it made, as a trader, I said, all right, let's look at KMX, not doing anything. And then Carvana. Now, this is another awesome example of the turn. You see, it's not a 1 bar turn, it's not a 2 bar turn. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bar turn, but it's still not confirmed yet. So let me set an alarm at 48. And it's gapping down. So well, maybe 47.50. But that would be a fantastic put spread once I get the turn. I posted a couple new trades here talking about the turn. One of them was yours, Alex. And let me go through them all right now. WPC. All right, so this is just vanilla 1, 2, 3 breakout. That looks fantastic. SNX. All right, here. So you heard me just talk about the turn. This, I mean, it's kind of a judgment call how many bar turn you consider this. Is it a 3 bar turn or is it a 1 bar turn? Because this gap reversal is a monster turn. So you could call that a 1 bar turn. And now our entry is a 1, 2, 3. What's today? Thursday? Over Tuesday's high. So I posted that as a long. It's a 1, 2, 3 on the daily. It's a buy setup on the weekly. Run I mentioned, and then APO. This is just a vanilla breakout with a correction bar here on Tuesday, trading under the broke out, and we don't buy breakouts. We don't buy breakouts that go from the bottom of the range to the top. We wait for either a buy setup or continuation pattern. And that's what this is. Continuation pattern. Look, daily, weekly, monthly are all in uptrends. So those are three new ones I posted along with, run and tan. So if somebody wants to look at other tan stocks, there's not many of them. Look at SPWR. Oh, that's solar. Never mind. Yeah, solar. So look, that thing's is left for dead. See that this is a great example, in my opinion, how fundamentals catch up with reality over time. Maybe not in the middle of the hype or anything like that, where everything goes up. You're buying all marijuana stocks, all Bitcoin stocks, all whatever, because it's the fad. But look at this thing's left for dead. My FTNT alarm went off. Sam, I am, that's yours. I mentioned I saw over MT Live yesterday talking about Left for Dead. Not Riven. Which one else did? Look at this. In the EV space, Biden's new Green Deal. I've been saying this for over a year. I've been saying these charts are a reflection of you can't force, you can give all the bailouts you want, but this chart is saying it ain't working. The ARC ladies was on today. I heard her, they're talking about Tesla, whatever else. And it's just amazing to me where these people get their facts. Because they were saying that Hertz is, people are not buying these EV rental stocks. No, I'm sorry, I can't talk. They're not renting these EV rental cars because they don't want the damn hassle with charging it. And she's on there with a straight face saying, oh no, you just gotta get used to the ecosystem, and then you'll end up buying it yourself. It's like these people, they just tell themselves something and they look in the mirror and just believe it. It's like where are you getting this information from? I surely don't want an EV car for the same damn reason. All right, TKO, I got a couple of alarms going off here. Package, nothing to do yet, but up alarm went off. Sam, I think these are a couple of years. TKO stands for technical knockout dodge. Did you know that? Technical knockout. So let's keep an eye on this 30-minute high. I'll put it in the bottom right here. DXCM low alarm. All right, we're long stock on that. APO up alarm. Man, it's, looking at pre-market data. Wow, the diamonds exceeded the pre-market high. Look at Boeing middle chart here falling. Yeah, Boeing I was going to consider as a put spread if and only if it closed strong. So glad we avoided that. All right, so look at diamonds here pre-market. Sold off on the number, and this just made a new high. Wow, so diamonds are still beastly. What else? APO. Oh, Duncan. Don't forget about him. Yeah, Duncan. We can short the 5-minute low, 33.33 now. Is beastly a word? Set a new alarm on old Duncan. All right, IWM, Greg, you were short in that yesterday. It's still the weakest horseman right here. Didn't bounce much into the pre-market. Um, so oh, GTN, I also posted. This was Sam I Am's 123, but it has to get over the highs, so nothing to do for a while. Wow, look at Boeing. I hope that thing crashes down to the 200 or lower. Amazon continuing its stealthy run, Google, Netflix. Wow, Netflix has been trading crazy, but hey, we talked about gaps yesterday. I don't call it pro because we define pro as igniting a new move, but I sure as heck call that bullish gap. That's bullish gap right there. So let's hey Dodge, check out a put spread for next week. End tap up alarm. Do you remember pre-market? I talked about turns. There's another gap reversal with a 1, 2, 3. Because the void ain't real great, but this could be a day trade. I checked put spread. There was no juice. But that's a nice. I love gap reversals like that, followed by 1, 2, 3. All right, for tie, we have a put spread, but nothing. STZ, we're still in. We should be at our 5-cent target now, 245. As it expires tomorrow. Yep, bid zero. So we're out at STZ, 5-cent target. Nice job. We covered half at 15, half at 5, giving an average out of 10 for those of you not swift with math. Uh, no, I'm not doing a $10 wide for 50 cents. It just doesn't meet my math thing, but yeah, let me take a look. All right, yeah, if somebody wants to check out, wow, said G also is lagging. Fizzler has been a leader, but all right, well, Tan, I'm gonna set an alarm 4840, and then I'm not gonna even worry about it for now. Q's approaching the pre-market high. So